doing these porch reflections, and you're going to have your cup of tea and you can just sit and join me where it is that you have your spot that you sit and reflect, and I'm going to share from my place where I sit and I reflect. And with my tea today, this is my special teacup. It's China. I like to drink my tea from China, and it's very specifically from the Hudson's Bay Company in Canada, actually from the Porch Royal store. And I purchased this one and my husband's, I don't know, 15 to 20 years ago, something like that, maybe longer. Yeah, probably even longer. So they've traveled with us everywhere. And every morning and every evening we have our tea together. Sometimes we have extra cups of tea during the day on our own. Not Peter so much because he's at work, but I will have other cups of tea in my cup. But it's just these sort of little gestures, these little reminders that this is my home, as far as in many ways I come back and reflect and connect with a warm cup of tea. What I wanted to share with you today also, I'm going to stretch over here again, is that this package of tea is important today because it reminded me as to how it is that I come about to find myself reflecting. So I'm one of these people, and I know I'm not unique in this in any way, but that I don't tend to look for things specifically. So I don't go about to find out what nettle tea nutrients are and how they could be good for me. I'm not a searcher of information. What I do is I tend to meet people and then have conversations with them and then see how it expands from there. And if they have something to share for me and with me, they will, right? And then that piece of information will stick. So this is Mary's beautiful teas from Windcrest Farms in Monroe, North Carolina. So I had a situation where I'd go to the market and she was sort of my favorite person to buy things from. We would chat, we would talk. I went out to her farm, took a couple of gardening classes with her, and then from there just started buying the things that she had in her market stall at the Matthews Market. And it wasn't always the same, and she often ran out. If I got there a little late, things were gone. And I didn't necessarily ask what they were all for. I trusted my gut. So I trusted my gut. I drank this tea a couple of times, but then settled it aside. And then today I found it again, and I thought, tea doesn't last for a very long time, and I wanted to make sure that I had some more. And then just before now, I look up and I find that it's really nutrient dense, which is something I need in my life right now as I'm coming out of winter and into the spring. I'm starting to sort of reestablish some new shoots coming up, right? And so that needs a lot of nutrients. So of course I gravitate to the tea that is just loaded with nutrients. I can't even begin to list them all, but you can find that. So anyways, reflections from the porch reflections. So today, and what I am going to share today is this idea of allowing ourselves to feel in yoga what we call the vayus. The vayus are the channels that energy runs through, right? The vayu, the breath. It's not really the breath, but where things flow through. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to get into technical terms. The lack of ability to do that can be congesting to us, meaning we can feel restricted. We can feel a little closed off, a little tight. The ability to take some time and to use our breath, right? Our force, the energy force that we know that is very much a flowing thing that comes in and comes out of our body. We all can relate to our breath. So if we use our breath and use some practices that really get the breath flowing in a very conscious way, we can start to really feel the sense of what the benefit is to really run that feeling of the energy all the way through the body. So Pavanmuktasana is a practice that we do in yoga, and I've done it over the years for a long time from various different teachers. Several different teachers have taught it. I learned it when I was in, where was I? Portland, I guess. I learned a version of it in Portland, and then I learned another version of it in North Carolina at one of the ashrams I used to visit, and then I've learned it again with another teacher that I'm working with now. And just the various versions have just been very soothing to me. And with that, I tend to run with it. Once I use it in my body enough that I'm getting the benefits that I need, then I adapt it to my way of teaching or my way of living, right? And so I taught it again today in class, and really the concept is you pull your breath up through your feet. So you imagine portals at the bottom of your feet that you can inhale and pull breath all the way up, and I bring it sort of up and like a hood almost, up and over my head, and then I exhale and press the breath all the way out. Right? So it's an inhale coming all the way up, pause and hold, and then press that breath all the way down and out. Ujjayi breath, hearing the sound of the breath. No strain, no tension. I'm not going to demonstrate it all. You'll eventually be able to find a version of it probably on my website. But for now, just describing it. Moving through all the joints. There's then movement that we do through the ankles, through the toes, through the feet, through the knees, through the hips, through the waist, through the ribs, through the shoulders, through the neck and jaw, right? So that we're moving the joints while bringing that breath in and out and washing it through. So it can be quite a long practice. It can also be shortened down to and made a little down and dirty so that you get just the key areas that you may want to work. You can just really adapt it. So, but the piece that's the reflection for today is while we were doing this, there came this moment where we were sort of heads down on the ground in child's pose, very prayerful in our way after we had done some other movements, some standing series of yoga asana. And the question comes, feel whatever it is you feel, like literally feel it, feel the emotion, identify the emotion, feel that, and then allow its opposite to come in and have communication. So let it come in and actually speak to it. So if you were feeling sorrow, let joy come in and have a conversation, right? And the conversation might look or feel something like you talking to you, or you feeling these emotions as if they were parts of your body. Your shoulder maybe being the sorrow, and maybe the rib cage being the joy. But can your rib cage talk to your shoulder? Right? So we can use sensations in our body if we find it difficult to really locate. We can use sensations in the body, right? But it's that communication between the two. And what I'm proposing that we reflect on is, do those opposing forces come in, and when they communicate, are they a balance to each other? Do they nullify the other? Do they support the other? And really bring more context, more texture, more growth, more space for us to truly feel what the lesson is. So what is the lesson? What is the learning? What is the wisdom? What is the reflection inside of us that's waiting to come out? Why am I going in this direction? Because I know these opposites are polarizing, right? So when things feel very polarized, when you feel very high and then very low, that makes us feel very polarized. We're both, but they both seem extreme. So if the two can come in and communicate, is there then a place of conscious communication? Is there a place where there is a dialogue for ourselves between our emotional states? So in that place, there then rises up a wisdom. And for me, what happens is that there's a truth to it. There's just a truth to it. There's a truth to the joy, there's a truth to the sorrow, right? It's just these opposing forces, and they have a voice, right? And it's really clear as we go through this process. It's not that one is right and one is wrong. They're just opposing forces. Sorrow is no more wrong in a sorrowful situation than joy is in a joyful situation, right? And one is not better than the other. It's that they come in and they communicate, right? So it's the process of reflecting and deepening ourselves into those emotional states. Why did it come today? Well, we were clearing the energy body. We were working the vayus of the body. We were flowing in and up. We were moving our body in and out. So we had every opportunity to go in and up. We had every opportunity to go down and out the body. We had every opportunity to open the body wide and close the body back in. these are forces that come through and work on us all the time in our physical body, spiritual body, emotional body, in our finances, right? I can go up and out and spend too much money. I can go down and become miserly, right? So it can work in our finances. It can come in on any and all levels. What I'm fascinated with now is this emotional state that we're in, each of us. And in our emotional state, is there a harmonious way that we are working with our emotions on a regular basis? So that we can feel that constancies of being able to lift ourselves up and above and to observe ourselves a little bit, right? And so, and I'm going to leave it with that because there's another whole conversation I can have about this. But the constancy is that we constantly feel the experience that we're feeling, and then we rise up and observe it from above, right? That we're observing ourselves, so that we just see our life and our body and our experiences from a bird's eye view. All right, so wrapping it all up. Welcome to Porch Reflections. I hope you enjoy your cup of tea, which I, of course, don't get a chance to really sip. I'll take a sip now. You'll hear I slurp my tea. I love to slurp my tea. You'll have your tea. We'll sit. We'll reflect. Today I was talking about let your life lead you in the direction of wisdom. Right? I let my life lead me in the direction of wisdom. Right? Appropriate people come into my life. I'm willing enough to listen in what makes sense, what doesn't make sense at the time. Follow along with my belly, my gut, my heart. Let these people teach me, guide me, give me the experiences I need. On a day like today, in a box underneath a box, I find this beautiful tea. I know it needs to be drunken soon. I've had it for a while. I pull it out. I think, interesting. I wonder what nettle tea does for one's body. And I read and I find the volume and the magnitude of the nutrients that are in this tea. I close my eyes for a moment and I say, thank you, I need nutrients right now because I am budding. I am creating some new ideas and new ways of approaching life. So I'm going to need some nutrients to shoot those buds out. So thank you, Mary, for your tea. Right? And then I come here and I share with you what I taught today and what I've been going through in my own life. Simple. Find your opposites. Find your opposites in your emotional body. Find your opposites in the characteristics of how you see yourself. Let them come in. Come in onto your belly. We let them come in and communicate, and it just really, it becomes this place that there's a healing. Each emotion is there for its opposite, to be there, to bolster it, to support it, to love it, to nurture it. And in that place that there is conscious communication within us, healing is there, and truth arises. When we get that truth, we don't hold on to it, we don't do anything necessarily with it, we acknowledge it as truth, we float on up, and we start to observe the experience from above, seeing ourselves from a bird's eye view and say thank you, right? Thank you for this awareness, thank you for this experience. And then we move on with our day and we take it with us and we see how life will continue to show up for us so that truth and that experience can be tested, right? And that's really, you'll find all of my teaching here on the porch will be about you going out and testing it in your own life. You got to figure out, does this make sense? And how does this work? And how is life going to challenge me and support me and bring me into walking my truth? All right, so have a lovely afternoon or evening, whatever it is, and we'll see you back on the porch for a few more porch reflections.
Beautiful.